Hal Jordan takes his power ring and finally makes the big jump to the big screen. Hello there, everybody. As always, for RealScreenReviews.com, I'm movie critic Nick Yacobucci.
And I'm returning critic Greg Hill. And our next review is The Green Lantern, which opened on Friday, June 17th, 2011. And this movie stars Ryon Reynolds, Blake Lively, Mark Strong, Peter Skarsgård, and Tim Robbins.
And this film comes to us from director Martin Campbell, the guy that makes good movies like the first Zorro film and Casino Royale. He makes bad movies like the second Zorro film and Vertical Limit. He also is credited with rebooting the James Bond franchise in the mid-90s with Pierce Brosnan in the film GoldenEye, and a few years ago with Daniel Craig, as I said, in Casino Royale. This time he takes up the reins of the Green Hornet, but we'll say the Green Lantern in his power ring to see if they can entertain audiences around the world. Now, Greg, I'm going to say to you, I don't think that you liked this movie, but how bad did you think it was?
Well, I started off not liking the movie, but I really liked the way it ended.
Really?
Yes, I did.
Oh my God, I think this movie is so bad on so many levels that it makes Jackie Chan's Rumble in the Bronx look like Gone with the Wind. I think I have so many issues with this film. Well, what did you grow to like in this film?
Well, it played out really kind of slow, and I didn't really think it did. But when it picked up, I really liked the action in it. I did. I was entertained by this movie.
My God, if I could reach over and strangle this person to death and not get in trouble for it, I actually would. I'll tell you, I think about going all the way back to the beginning of when somebody, an executive at Warner Brothers Studios, wanted to make a Green Lantern film. Now, I would think that on his desk, he would probably have like 20, 25, maybe 30 scripts or ideas, and this is the one that he picked. This idea is the one that he picked. The villains in this movie is Mr. Potato Head with a bad comb-over and a big giant cloud of dung that floats through the air, and I don't know, does it fart people to death? I don't know.
I don't know. I'll tell you one thing that I really liked about this movie that I didn't really expect. To me, what I took out of it is, a little bit of a deeper meaning, which superhero movies don't normally have.
Okay.
And in the fact that Hal Jordan himself doesn't possess any special powers. It's the ring that gives him his powers. But it's his strength of will and his ability to overcome fear that make him powerful. I'm sorry, I really like it.
I think this movie is just absolutely awful. I thought the one true thing that was good about this film was Mark Strong as Sinestro, and they didn't use him at all. They used these other villains, like I said. I think his name's Hector Hammond. Is that the one? Yeah. He literally looks like Mr. Potato Head with a bad comb-over. And then the other villain was it Parallax?
Yes.
Okay, it's called Parallax. I wonder if they watched the Fantastic Four, The Rise of the Silver Surfer, because it looks just like Galactus from that film, and I don't know where the people in Hollywood think that a giant cloud is going to be exciting, because from a movie standpoint, it was just absolutely a dismal failure, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean...
Greg, you're not going back for it.
I can't explain why I liked it. Like I said, I really liked the ending.
It left you with the sequel end. Now, I'll tell you, coming off the heels of a movie like X-Men, which we just reviewed a couple weeks ago. Now, would you put this on caliber with how good the X-Men was?
No, I would not put it on caliber with X-Men. Okay. And I think that's how that's why this movie suffers a little bit. It's because X-Men was so good.
Yes.
And everyone went into this movie thinking, and having those same kind of expectations.
I agree. And I'll tell you, I talked to some other people that are really true fans of the Green Lantern comic books, and they said that they thought maybe if you were a diehard fan of Green Lantern and the comic books, you would probably have a more fun time watching this film. But that brings me to the point of J.J. Abrams' reboot of Star Trek a couple of years ago, and he came up with a story that could entertain everyone, whether you were a Trekkie or whether you were a newbie or whatever, and I really think that they could have done so much better with this film. I actually think it's so bad, I'm surprised that Nicolas Cage wasn't in it.
Hey, don't give it the kiss of death now.
And I'll say one other thing. When I watched Spider-Man, the original Spider-Man 1 with Tobey Maguire, I don't think it's a great movie. It's entertaining. I don't think it's a great movie, but I think the movie works because you easily sympathize with Peter Parker and Tobey Maguire's take on this character. And I know that the character of Hal Jordan is supposed to be cocky, but it's hard to sympathize with the guy. He's just such a very unlikable kind of character in the beginning. In the beginning, he grows to be something else, and I'm not going to beat it up too bad, but I think I've beat it up enough.
Yeah, you've been pretty rough on it.
So how many stars are you going to give this?
Well,
Greg?
like I said, I don't know. You can't see how I could like this movie, but I did. I enjoyed it. I gave it 3 stars.
Oh my God!
Not X-Men, but hey.
Oh my gosh!
Gosh.
Well,
that's why I'm here. I'm just giving my honest opinion.
No, and honest opinions are welcomed on the show, and I'm glad that there's somebody out there that different. But I would say I would easily put this: avoid at all costs. I'm going to give this 1/2 of 1 star and say that as of right now, this is easily, far and away, the year's worst film because, you know. As I've said before, the definition of one of the year's worst films is a big budget with big stars, and this is the best you could do. I have a lot to be desired from Green Lantern. So,
and you brought up an interesting point about how making a successful, especially a superhero movie. I mean, we've seen with the the Transformers franchise, and Star Trek. You have to try to make a story that will entertain a general audience.
Yes,
the masses, and it seems And I've heard of the Green Lantern, but I'm really not that familiar with him. So I went into this movie not knowing a whole lot, and maybe if I had, I might have liked it a little bit more.
Now, I like the Green Lantern. I grew up with him on the Super Friends, and I do like the character a lot. I just think this is just a mismatch. I really think they really just could have went with a better story. I just think everything really just could have been... I think the only thing that they really got right was Sinestro. They got Mark Strong, who's so underused in this movie, and he's probably the most talented of all the actors that appear in it, with the best character. But Greg, thank you so much for being here, and this is one of the times that we just differ, and that makes this show what the show is. The difference of opinion, and we welcome people out there to leave comments and tell me that I'm wrong, tell Greg that he's wrong, whatever. It's all welcomed and it's all good. And remember, people, we're not always right.
Only when it comes to the movies.
And thank you for your attention.